Does Christopher Nolan even have a bad movie out yet? Like, I don't remember the last time I saw a movie from Christopher Nolan that I was like, nah, that's terrible. Welcome back, guys. I finally watched Dunkirk. I got a pre-screening to this movie and I was so happy that I watched it because it was freaking amazing. Now, before I get into the review, actually, a lot of people ask me how do I get my pre-screenings, and it's kind of simple, to be honest, but if you guys want me to do a video on that, just let me know down in the comments. But basically, Dunkirk is about when the French and the British armies were stuck in Dunkirk with their backs against the sea, just waiting to get slaughtered by the Germans, and their plan was to get back into the front lines to help fight the war. But now let's talk about the film. The film itself is obviously directed by Christopher Nolan, and then we have the score by Hans Zimmer, which is phenomenal because from the beginning of the movie we have like the sound of a clock just ticking away, and it like drives this movie like until the very end, and it drives me nuts because I remember leaving the theater and I put on my turn signals and I was like, wait, am I at the movies again? Because it just stayed stuck in my mind. And another thing too was like the movie was so intense that once I was driving, I felt like I was Tom Hardy on the damn fighter jet planes, and I was just like, holy shit, like this is too much. But the movie itself is amazing, guys. One thing to point out about this film is that there is very little dialogue, and that, to be honest, is not a bad thing at all. Like the movie itself runs for like under 2 hours, which was a little weird because Christopher Nolan movies usually run 2 hours or more. But I think that literally 20% of the movie was dialogue. It was very little, if anything less than that, which was great to me because the whole movie was driven by emotion and action the whole time. The movie itself does not really have a standout character in this film, I would say. There are like 3 different storylines that I really like. There's the one with the old man and his kid trying to go out there with his little boat to save as many soldiers as he can. You also have the storyline with Tom Hardy being like the jet fighter that just trying to take down like German enemies. And then you have the storyline of these kids where, like, you know, Harry Styles is in it, and I forgot the name of the other actor. And yeah, Harry Styles was in this film, and not only because Harry Styles was in it, people kept asking me like, oh, was he good? Yeah, he was good. I mean, like the entire film, I don't think any actors were like out of place or, you know, they were off character. Everybody was great. I really liked how these stories were interchanged like constantly throughout the movie because I was never confused, but at the same time that brought so much more intensity to this film that I was literally at the edge of my seat the entire film from the very beginning. One of the great aspects about this movie is that it's a war movie, and usually in war movies there's a face to a villain, or, you know, the German army, there's usually soldiers that we see like visually and we know like, hey, that's the enemy. But in this case it's completely different. I don't know if I've seen a film where I know who the enemy is, but at the same time there's no face behind it. All we see is the German fighter planes, and we know they're bad, and then at the same time there are scenes where they're getting shot at, but we don't know where those shots are coming from. And there's even like underwater missiles that are being shot and we don't know where the hell they're coming from, but all we know is that it means danger. One great thing about the film itself, like I said, is the score. I feel like this movie heavily relies on the score itself, and it goes great throughout the whole film. The intensity is always up at the top. There are moments in the film itself where things kind of slow down, trying to give us like that light of hope, giving me time to catch my breath, but then you're back in the danger zone, so you have to like watch out for what's going to happen next. And like I said, Hans Zimmer's score in this film drives the entire film to the very end, and it kind of reminded me of Baby Driver because that movie relies on its music to like tell the story, and it's the same thing here except like at a higher intensity. When I went to watch this film, I saw the little pre-screening card that said not rated yet, but from what I got from this movie, it felt like kind of like a PG-13 because there wasn't a whole lot of blood shit. But I guess it would be like a nitpick maybe because it's a war movie and you're not seeing a whole lot of blood, but the scenes themselves are so intense that you don't need blood or anything like that shown to like know that these people are dying and suffering. It's really hard for me to nitpick this movie because I just couldn't find anything wrong with the film. Like I said, like the movie felt really long, but that's not a bad thing. Like the whole time I felt like I was there behind those other kids with like Harry Styles, and I felt drained at the end of the movie. Like once the movie ended, I felt like this sort of relief, like, oh my god, like it's over, like I can go home too. And that's something they kept saying in the movie, like, you know, we want to go home. But yeah, guys, this movie was great. Like it was phenomenal. The direction from Christopher Nolan again was fantastic, and alongside score in this film was just great. I feel like I've given a lot of Christopher Nolan's like a high rating, and even like a perfect rating because they're just so great. Like Memento, The Prestige, Inception, Interstellar, all those films were great. Even the Batman movies were amazing, and this movie might be his best one yet. So I'm gonna give Dunkirk a perfect perfect score, a 5 out of 5. Now, if you guys are gonna watch this movie like later on when it comes down on Blu-ray or something like that, please do this movie justice and just go watch this movie in theaters, because it deserves that kind of sound quality and visuals, because there's no way you can watch this movie on your phone on your little screen. This movie definitely needs like a higher definition TV, some great sounding like speakers and stuff like that, because you want to hear every single little detail. So guys, my question to you is this the best Christopher Nolan movie out yet? And if not, what do you think his best Christopher Nolan movie is? Or what's your favorite one that he has directed? Like I said in the beginning, guys, if you guys want me to do a video on how I get my pre-screening and stuff like that, it's very simple. It will take me like 2-3 minutes to do it, I guess. But if you guys want me to do that too, let me know down in the comments. But guys, if you guys are new to my channel, please go ahead and subscribe. Hit the little bell at the bottom so you guys are aware whenever my new reviews are up or whenever I post any videos. And if you like this video, please make sure to give it a big thumbs up and share it with your friends. But as always, guys, stay tuned.